Thank you so much, gentlemen. Let us move to the next session. It is surely going to give you goosebumps. An interesting session titled as War and Victory. And I would like to invite on stage Major General R.S. Bhadauria ji, and he will be in conversation with Ambreen Zaidi ji and Lieutenant Colonel Anurag Shukla ji. मैं चाहूँगा जोरदार तालियों से हम उनका मंच पे स्वागत करें. If they are here in the room, I would request them to please step up on. The title is War and Victory. Yes, there it is, the poster. The day that changed it all, by Major General R.S. Bhadauria ji in conversation with Ambreen Zaidi ji and Lieutenant Colonel Anurag Shukla ji. Lieutenant Colonel Anurag Shukla ji couldn't join us due to some reason, so we have Ambreen Zaidi ji with us as the discussant. And Major General R.S. Bhadauria is an alumnus of Sainik School, Chittorgarh, the National Defence Academy, Kharagwasla, and the Indian Military Academy, Dehradun. He was commissioned as an officer of the Indian Army on 9th June 1984 and joined the Allied Grenadiers Regiment. During his service spanning over 37 years, he has served in almost all parts of the country, including Jammu and Kashmir and the northeastern states, where he was actively involved in operations along the line of control with Pakistan, the line of actual control with China, and counter-terrorist operations. As the discussants, we are elated to invite Ambreen Zaidi ji. She has been a well-known columnist and author. She regularly writes for national and international publications about the issues which need immediate attention. Her debut book, The Warrior Widows, which was released last month, is being widely appreciated. And yes, I would request you to unfold the conversation.
Jai Hind, everyone. Zor se. Good, that's the spirit. Okay, I'll keep it very simple and very informal. What comes to your mind when you think of Kashmir? Beauty. Okay, and और कुछ? Tensions. Okay, and? Sorry? Vishwa ka Swarg. Okay, very nice. That's so nice to hear about it. But ये जो Vishwa ka Swarg है, it has been going through a lot of turmoil. We all know that. All right. And every other day we hear about stories about encounters and the terrorists being killed and our soldiers being killed in action. But very heartbreaking stories, news items that we get almost every second day. So today, this book, The Day That Changed It All, is one book where you will get to hear it from the horse's mouth, from Major General Bhadauria, who in his tenure as the commanding officer of an infantry unit killed 20 terrorists and apprehended one, and dreaded terrorists, मतलब जिन्होंने उस region में तबाही मचा के रखी हुई थी. और look at the, the risk that they took. घरों में घुस के, they knew, his people, his soldiers knew that the house has terrorists, they have the ammunition, but still they went inside, they died in the encounter, but गए बच्चे, they killed the terrorists, because हमें तो खून खराबा नहीं चाहिए ना. आप किसी के भी नाम पे करो, आप religion के नाम पे करो, आप आज़ादी के नाम पे करो, but we want धरती का स्वर्ग वापस, right? We all want peace to return in the valley. So let's give it to General Bhadauria and hear it from him. Thank you so much.
I'll go there, Andros. Good afternoon, everyone. and Jai Hind. After the last session that we just had, which was so emotionally draining, I thought, will I be able to raise myself to come up and speak to you all? But then, of course, it's a calling, and I thought my story was a great one, but when I heard the last one, I think there can be nothing better than that as far as human will and determination is concerned. So I'll take some time to talk about the book, The Day That Changed It All, what it is about, and what went on in my mind while I thought of this story and experienced this entire thing. Next, please. So this book, The Day That Changed It All, you can see the cover here. Next. Next. Now, what is this book all about? The title initially, which was announced, was War and Victory. While, yes, it is war and victory in some sense, but ultimately it is the story of an infantry unit. And just to put it in correct perspective, an infantry unit or a unit is the basic fighting unit of the Indian Army. And the boss of that is a commanding officer. So this is the story of an infantry unit. And also it is the story of human spirit, of drive and determination, of leadership when your chips are down. It is a storyteller's delight. And of course, the book gives a peek into the operations of Jammu and Kashmir. So why I've put these points here is a lot of people ask, what is this book all about? Is it about operations? Is it about leadership? Is it about management? It is everything. Everything that you can think of. Especially people who are interested in military operations, military leadership. I mean, this is a wonderful book for you to read through. Next, please. Now, what was this day which changed it all? This is the first chapter of my book, which says, A Bolt from the Blue. This day was 6th of August, 2002. My unit, 4 Grenadiers, was located in Jammu and Kashmir. We were carrying out counter-terrorist operations in the foothills of Pir Panjal ranges. I was not there. I was posted that time in Punjab during Operation Parakram. If you recollect, Parliament had been attacked in 2001, and the entire army had mobilized to the borders. So I was that time in Jammu and Kashmir, in Punjab, in a headquarters, and this was the event which happened in my unit, where the commanding officer of the unit was shot dead. I'll not go into the circumstances, why and how, but this happened. And when this happened, the unit went into shock, the morale went low, and obviously there were a lot of issues which happened. The unit per se, which was a very, very old unit, there were apprehensions in their mind because they saw that it's blood on their hands, their entire history, which was very, very great history of theirs, that has come crumbling down with just one incident. So this was the kind of environment which was there on that day. And so that is the day I said it changed everything for the unit, for me, for everybody in that environment. Next, please. Now, this chapter, the second one, why I have called it is that fourth is your destinies. While I was traveling from Punjab back to my unit, I had been called immediately to take over command. A lot of thoughts came to my mind. Because I was commissioned into my unit, 4 Grenadiers, but a lot of things happened in between, because of which I thought I would never be able to even serve in the army for a full tenure, leave alone command my unit. Due to certain medical reasons, I lost a kidney as a young major. Then in operations in the line of control, in firing, I got badly injured on my back and my vertebra was almost gone. I thought I will possibly not be able to even walk again. So similar, a lot of such things were happening. So I thought possibly I will not get even to serve the full tenure. And also, when I got approved for the rank of colonel. So I checked up as to whether I'll be able to command my unit or not. So circumstances were such that my predecessor had just completed about 10 odd months in the unit, and it is mandatory for a commanding officer to do 2 years. So I knew that I will not be able to go to my unit. But then this incident happened, and that pushed me to take over the command of my unit. So that is why I said the destiny told me that yes, this is my unit. I have to go there, get everything back under control, and revive the name of the unit. So that is from where the struggle started. Next, please. Now, these are the challenges that I saw for myself. I've covered some of these already earlier. Next, please. But thus, when I went there, I did see light on the horizon. And that light on the horizon was that for the name of the unit and for Izzat, a unit would do anything. And that was my start point, a positive point, that yes, we will all work through and come out of this and get the name of the unit back. We'll fight through all this. Youthful composition of my unit, of course, was another positive. I had very vibrant officers, young officers, who would again take on anything. So with all these positives, I thought, let's move ahead from here and take the unit back to its old glory. Next, please. Now, while I was thinking all this, a quote came to my mind, because from the day the incident happened until the time I reached my unit, it took about 4 or 5 days. So one of my officers, immediately senior to me, called me and told me that, look, Ravi, all that you need to do is bring the smiles back to the faces of the Jawans. If you have done that, half the battle is won. So this was the start point to get the smiles back to where they belong. Next, please. Yeah. So hereafter started, of course, the action to soothe the nerves. Because as I told you earlier, there are a lot of apprehensions, a lot of things in the mind. What will happen to the unit? Will the unit get, suspended? Will there be punishment? And all those kinds of things are going on in the mind. So there was the immediate requirement to soothe the nerves of everyone, of the troops themselves, of the environment which is around, of the officers of the unit who were there outside, and there was a need to connect to them. There was a need to reassure the troops, to tell them, yes, I'm there, main hoon na. So that was required to be done. Long term, again, a lot of measures were to be taken. One of them was to establish yourself once again in your operations to get certain successes, because every small success leads to bigger successes, and ultimately, once you start winning, once you start succeeding, then nothing stops you thereafter. So to start with small steps, and then establish yourself as a unit. The credibility of the unit was to be established as a long-term measure. Next, please. While all this was happening, it was already about month and a half when by the time I had taken over. But things kept on going bad to worse. The 2-3 incidents which happened, I thought, as a commanding officer, I will take control of everything and everything will be all right. But then the things kept on happening in a manner that I was wondering when will this slide halt? When will we be able to come up ever again? So 3 incidents that I've highlighted here is, in one of the operations, the young officer, Captain Chandra Chaudhary, he went for an operation. We did plan well, but the terrain in J&K can be very, very punishing. And that is where we learned this hard lesson. And this operation, though we did a lot of things, right, wrong, whatever you can now say, but we lost this young officer and a couple of more people. So this was right from in the beginning of my tenure there, one of the very, very poor experiences which I had of my command. Then, of course, 2 more incidents wherein in a neighboring school about 2 kilometers from my headquarters, terrorists attacked that school, took out 2-3 persons of a particular community along with the teacher, shot them, and ran away from there. At that point of time, I thought the response could have been slightly better. Anyway, We took them on later on and killed all those terrorists later on. That's a different thing. But at that point of time, we failed in getting those terrorists at that point of time. And then, of course, there were certain elections going on. In those elections, the CAPF cordon, which was there right just outside the booth, the terrorists came and took away their LMG. Overall responsibility was ours. So this again I thought as a failure on our part. So with all these things happening, I was wondering as to what will happen now. When will we ever be able to get our name back and regain the confidence of our formation commanders? So while all this was happening, I then one day sat down. I had a very disturbed mind, and next 2 hours I wrote down a letter for my command, for my officers. That letter is about 6 to 7 pages. I took about 1.5 to 2 hours. But that letter conveyed my heart out. In that letter, I wrote down what were my observations with respect to what was going wrong in conduct of operation, the tactics which they were using, and whatever I had to write, I just poured my heart out and sent that letter to all my officers. Now, whether this is a coincidence or whether it's the effect of the letter, next 10 days, we started having a success, and our graph just kept going up thereafter, never looked back. So I don't want to bore you with the details of the letter right now. You can read it in your own time. Go next, please. Next, 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 next. Yeah. Sorry. So this was the turning point. अभी बदलाव मैंने कहा कि बदलाव शुरू कैसे हुआ? So this was one operation where again there was a patrol which was going for certain operations at night. They saw some activity, suspicious activity in a house. और वो suspicious activity देखने के बाद में मेरी जो पेट्रोल थी उन्होंने घर को उसको सराउंड कर लिया, और सराउंड करने के बाद में कॉर्डन लग करके उसको चेक करना शुरू कर दिया. फायरिंग शुरू हुई, फायर फाइटिंग हुई, और मैं रेडियो पे मॉनिटर कर रहा था क्या हो रहा है. वो सब चलता रहा, और रात को ये सब हुआ, और वी थॉट के वी विल बी एबल टू सक्सीड हियर. देयर वाज वन पर्सन हु वाज मैनेजिंग द लाइट मशीन गन. दैट पर्सन kept on firing at the door of the house in which the terrorists were supposed to be there. I'm not going through the details of the entire incident, but in the morning, when we started checking everything, we realized कि हमारा एक हवलदार जो था वो मिसिंग हो गया उस समय. We couldn't find him. तो सुबह जब ऑपरेशन पूरा हमने वाइंड अप किया, ख़त्म किया, तब हमें पता चला कि उस घर के अंदर हवलदार ज़हूर एक जो था हमारा, वो वहाँ पर शहीद हो चुका था, और साथ में एक टेररिस्ट भी वहाँ पर मर चुका था. उसकी डिटेल्स में अभी नहीं जाऊँगा, लेकिन ये एक ऐसा ऑपरेशन था जब मुझे ऐसा लगा कि हाँ, वैसे कहना नहीं चाहिए कि स्कोर नहीं है फुटबॉल का कि 1-1 हो गया तो बराबर हो गए, लेकिन ऐसी जब सिचुएशन होती है, जब आप यूनिट को ऊपर लाना चाहते हैं, तो आप ये स्कोर देखने लगते हैं, ये चीज़ देखने लगते हैं कि ठीक है हमारा एक गया तो उनका भी हमने एक लिया. तो दिस वाज अ पॉइंट वेयर आई थॉट कि आवर रिकवरी हैड स्टार्टेड, एंड आफ्टर दैट ऑफ कोर्स देयर इज नो स्टॉपिंग अस. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. नाउ हियर आफ्टर वी हैड कंटिन्यूसली 3 to 4 ऑपरेशंस ओवर द नेक्स्ट 2-3 months, और उन 2-3 महीनों के अंदर हमने 10 टेररिस्ट को ख़त्म किया, और उनकी डिटेल्स में भी अभी नहीं जाऊंगा. बहुत खतरनाक तरह के टेररिस्ट थे, और कम से कम 6-7 टेररिस्ट वो थे जिन्होंने स्कूल के ऊपर हमला किया था, जहां उन्होंने टीचर और बच्चों को मारा था. वी वर एबल टू किल ऑल ऑफ देम एंड टेक एंड अवेंज दैट इंसिडेंट एंड द लॉस ऑफ लाइव्स. So this was a good success that we had over the next about 2-3 months. How we did it, I will not again go into the details, but basically what we were doing was we were carrying out a lot of operations with lot of intelligence. हम हर जगह खबर लेते थे पूरे एरिया का कि हमने मैपिंग कर रखी थी, और जहाँ से भी कोई खबर मिलती थी हम फटाफट एक्शन करते थे और तब तेज़ी से करते थे। उसके लिए हमने तरीके किए हुए थे छोटी छोटी टीम्स में, और इससे पहले कि टेररिस्ट वहाँ से निकल पाएँ वी शुड बी देयर। और हम ऐसे ऐसे इलाकों में ऑपरेट करते थे जहाँ लोगों को लगता ही नहीं था कि कोई फौज पहुँच पाएगी। एंड दैट वाज द actual reason for our success in these kind of operations. Next, please. Now, this is one of my favorite operations and my favorite photograph. ये एक ऑपरेशन है जिसमें हमने एक टेररिस्ट को मारा था जिसका नाम था अबू हुरेरा। अबू हुरेरा उस इलाके के अंदर उसने बहुत दहशत फैला रखी थी और उसको एक फैंटम की तरह लोग समझते थे कि ये इसको कोई ना देख सकता है ना मार सकता है। तो हमें सिर्फ खबर मिलती थी कि अबू हुरेरा फलाने घर में फलाने गांव में है। हम जब तक पहुंचते थे घेरते थे वो निकल जाता था। 6 महीने तक हम कोशिश करते रहे, हम उसको नहीं पकड़ पाए। बट हमने डिसाइड कर रखा था कि अबू हुरेरा को हम छोड़ेंगे नहीं, क्योंकि उसने बहुत लोगों को परेशान किया था, बहुत लोगों को मारा था। तो लास्ट में हमको एक खबर मिलती है कि कई सारी खबरों के बाद में कि अबू हुरेरा ने किसी से ऑलरेडी शादी कर ली है और वो एक ऐसे इलाके में रहता है जहां पर फौज कभी नहीं जाती है, बियॉन्ड जंगलों के पार। तो देन वी हैड टू ऑर्गेनाइज एन ऑपरेशन, अ कोवर्ट ऑपरेशन। कोवर्ट ऑपरेशन क्या होता है? नॉर्मल फौज की वर्दी में हम नहीं जाते हैं, जैसे टेररिस्ट दिखते हैं टेररिस्ट की वेशभूषा के अंदर टेररिस्ट की तरह से उनकी भाषा बोलने वाले लोगों के साथ में। तो ये हमने एक ऑपरेशन प्लान किया विद 10 मैन, 10 लोगों की स्पेशल टीम, और ये जाते हैं। अगेन मैं उसका ऑपरेशन की डिटेल्स में नहीं जाऊंगा यहाँ पर। ये उस इलाके में पहुंचते हैं और बिल्कुल मुंह अंधेरे सुबह सुबह जो है अबू हुरैरा को ये ढूंढ लेते हैं और ख़त्म कर देते हैं। तो ये अबू हुरैरा यहाँ पर उसकी समाप्ति होती है और उस इलाके के अंदर जो आतंक जो था, जो डर इसने फैला रखा था, उसको हमने हमेशा के लिए ख़त्म कर दिया। इस ऑपरेशन के लिए हमने इंटेलिजेंस के लिए इंटेलिजेंस जनरेट करने के लिए हमने उस समय 50,000 रुपये का इनाम रखा था, और 2002 की बात है ये। उस समय 50,000 रुपये काफ़ी होते थे। तो उस 50,000 रुपये की एवज में हमें वो खबर मिली जिस खबर का हमें इंतज़ार था, और उस खबर को हमने बहुत अच्छे से इस्तेमाल करते हुए उसको अंजाम दिया। इस फोटो के अंदर सारे वो टेररिस्ट के वेश में हैं, बीच में मैं खड़ा हुआ हूँ और बिल्कुल लेफ्ट साइड में डॉक्टर हैं जो मेरे साथ में उस समय थे। हम ऑपरेशन के थोड़ी देर बाद वहाँ पहुँच गए थे। नेक्स्ट प्लीज। तो इस तरह से हमारा ये ऑपरेशन सक्सेस हमारी होती रही। और जैसा मैंने कहा कि शुरू में कहा था कि अगर हम ऑपरेशनली सक्सेसफुल रहे, मोराल बढ़ेगा, लोगों के अंदर कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ेगा, जो हमारे ऊपर कमांडर्स हैं, हेडक्वार्टर्स हैं, उनको हमारे अंदर कॉन्फिडेंस आएगा। इसलिए हम ऑपरेशनल सक्सेस के ऊपर हमने बहुत जोर दिया और इसी तरह से हम आगे बढ़ते रहे। नाउ दिस इज द टाइम जब हमारा टेन्योर वहाँ ख़त्म हो रहा था। हम ऑलरेडी फील्ड के अंदर 5 साल कर चुके थे। नॉर्मली 2 से 3 साल का टेन्योर होता है, लेकिन उस समय पराक्रम की वजह से सबका टेन्योर बढ़ गया था। हम 5 साल से वहाँ थे फील्ड के अंदर। तो ऐसे में हमारा पीस स्टेशन के अंदर हमारा मूव होने वाला था, उसकी भी तैयारी चल रही थी। तो जब ये तैयारी होती है पीस स्टेशन के लिए, तो ज़्यादातर कमांडर सोचते हैं कि भाई अभी यूनिट ढीली हो गई है, अभी ये तैयारी कर रही है, अभी ये ऑपरेशन नहीं करेगी। लेकिन हमने अपना ऑपरेशनल कमिटमेंट जो फोकस था उसको आखिरी दिन तक रखा अपने साथ और वो छोड़ा नहीं। उसका ये अंजाम था, उसका ये रिजल्ट था कि लास्ट जो दिन था हमारा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी का उस इलाके के अंदर, उस दिन हमने अपना सबसे बड़ा ऑपरेशन किया। और हमारा इलाका था पहाड़ियों के अंदर, बहुत दूर था वो। और मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ कि हमारा जो पहाड़ी इलाका था, कम से कम 5-6 घंटे चल के जाना पड़ता था कहीं भी जाने के लिए, अब पैदल पहाड़ों के अंदर, हाई एल्टीट्यूड वगैरह के अंदर। तो वैसी हालात के अंदर हमारे ट्रूप्स गए और उन्होंने एक ऑपरेशन किया और 5 आतंकवादी एक दिन में ख़त्म कर दिए। तो जब ये हुआ तो हमारे जो हायर हेडक्वार्टर्स थे उनका ये कमेंट था, यू पीपल आर ग्रेट बिकॉज इवन द लास्ट डे ऑफ योर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी यू बीन doing your thing in the best possible manner. So this was our last hurrah when we killed 5 terrorists out there, and as Ambreen said, we went out with killed 20 terrorists and apprehended 1 after 1 odd year of operations there under my command. Next, please. After this, of course, we move to the peace station. So now the story changes from operational responsibility to the life in a peace station. Now, life in a peace station is different. In an operational area, your performance is judged by your operational success. In a peace area, it is your contribution to the station matters. It is your sports competitions, how you perform there. It is your performance in various training events, training competitions, etc., like firing competition and various other competitions. So now this is a big challenge again. 5 साल फील्ड में काटने के बाद आप पीस में आ रहे हो, आपके पुराने स्पोर्ट्स टीम खत्म हो गई हैं, आपके दूसरे आपके जो प्लेयर्स वगैरह हैं या फायरर्स वगैरह हैं वो रिटायर हो गए हैं, तो आपको सब कुछ नया बनाना पड़ेगा. तो द फोकस वाज टू rebuild all these teams, rebuild all these people, and then start again. So with this challenge, we started off. And I dare say over the next 2-3 years, we were the best unit in the formation. But in spite of having done well in operations there, having done well in the peace station, there was a comment from a very senior officer, oh, it's the same unit that killed itself. So, you know, तो कहने का मतलब यह है कि हमने इतना परिश्रम किया अपने नाम को ऊपर लाने के लिए ऑपरेशनल एरिया में, सक्सेसफुल भी रहे. पीस स्टेशन में वी वर द बेस्ट यूनिट. कोई चाहे किसी भी तरह का कंपटीशन हो, किसी भी तरह के वेपन की फायरिंग का कंपटीशन हो, कमांडो कंपटीशन हो, ऑब्स्टिकल कंपटीशन हो, चाहे स्पोर्ट्स का कंपटीशन हो, हमने कहीं हम पीछे नहीं रहे. बिकॉज एज अ यूनिट वी वांटेड टू प्रूव दैट वी आर द बेस्ट. लेकिन फिर भी हमें यह सुनना पड़ा, ओ इट्स द सेम यूनिट व्हिच किल्ड इटसेल्फ. इसका मतलब हमें और काम करने की जरूरत थी और हम वो काम आगे भी करते रहे. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. नाउ एज आई सेड, पीस स्टेशन में आ गए, नया बिल्कुल सब कुछ माहौल है वहां पर. 5 साल के बाद आए लोग, जवान टर्नओवर हो चुके थे काफी कुछ. उनको सारी यूनिट्स के जो ड्रिल्स एंड प्रोसीजर्स होती है पीस टाइम की अलग होती है, गार्ड ड्यूटी, सेरेमोनियल एक्टिविटीज वगैरह, उसके लिए सबको दोबारा तैयार करना था. वो सब करने में और दोबारा रीट्रेन करने में बड़ा टाइम लगा. तो दैट इज व्हाई आई सेड बैक टू बेसिक्स. सो दिस चैप्टर इज बेसिकली अबाउट दैट. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. नाउ व्हाइल वी वर डूइंग ऑल दिस, a new fresh development was taking place in the northeast. वहाँ पर भूटान के अंदर एक ऑपरेशन चल रहा था टू फ्लश आउट द टेररिस्ट. जो उल्फा के टेररिस्ट थे और एनडीएफ के जो टेररिस्ट थे, उन्होंने भूटान के अंदर कैंप्स बना रखे थे और उन कैंप्स के अंदर से वो असम में आकर के अटैक करके भाग जाया करते थे. तो उस समय इंडिया और भूटान की सरकार के बीच बातचीत हुई और भूटान गवर्नमेंट ने डिसाइड किया कि इन सारे कैंप्स को हम खाली करेंगे और उनको भगाएंगे टेररिस्ट को. वहाँ उनको फ्लश आउट करने का ऑपरेशन था. तो दैट वाज द टाइम वी वर इन रांची इन अ पीस स्टेशन. सो फ्रॉम देयर, फ्रॉम ऑल द वे फ्रॉम रांची वी वर मूव टू असम टू पार्टिसिपेट इन दिस ऑपरेशन टू गेट टू फ्लश आउट दोस टेररिस्ट फ्रॉम Bhutan towards India. And when they were coming into India, like a net, we were supposed to get them. And that's what we were doing there. So we did that for about a month and a half, and then we again got back to Ranchi. Next, please. Now, here, after all this, a very, very important event that all infantry, all units have in peace stations is celebration of their Battle Honor Day. Now, we celebrate our Battle Honor Day in memory of Company Quartermaster Havildar Abdul Hamid, who was awarded Paramveer Chakra in 1965 war. परमवीर चक्र इनको मिला था 1965 की लड़ाई में पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ. पाकिस्तान की 1 आर्मर्ड डिवीजन ने जो हमला किया था अपने पैटर्न टैंक्स के साथ में अमृतसर की तरफ आ रहे थे, तो अब्दुल हमीद और हमारी यूनिट ने उस डिवीजन को वहीं पर रोक दिया था, उनके टैंकों को वहीं पर रोक दिया था, जिसकी वजह से यूनिट को बैटल ऑनर असल उत्तर मिला और अब्दुल हमीद को परमवीर चक्र मिला. तो इस दिन को हम सेलिब्रेट करते हैं. तो इस चैप्टर में मैंने इस पूरे ऑपरेशंस के बारे में लिखा है, 65 में क्या हुआ था और सेलिब्रेशन हम किस तरह से करते हैं, क्या माहौल होता है. हमारे लोग जो पुराने लोग आते हैं, पुराने ऑफिसर, जेसीओ जवान, वो कैसे हमारे साथ मिलते हैं, कैसे वो हम अपने एक्सपीरियंस शेयर करते हैं. तो एक तरह से ये एक मिलन होता है जो हर 2-3 साल में हम लोग करते हैं. तो ये उसके बारे में इस चैप्टर पूरा हमने लिखा है. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. इसके बाद में 2-3 चैप्टर हैं, इसमें 2 चैप्टर खास तौर पे यहाँ पर फीडबैक एंड ग्रूमिंग ऑफ द यंग ऑफिसर्स। अब पीस में आ गए हो आप, बहुत कुछ हो रहा है, तो उसको फीडबैक आपको कैसे लेना है उसका हमने एक तरीका लिया था, जवानों से फीडबैक कैसे लिया जाए कि सही है गलत है क्या करना चाहिए, तो वो मैंने इसमें लिखा है, मैं उसके बारे में अभी डीप ज़्यादा नहीं बताऊंगा। ग्रूमिंग ऑफ ऑफिसर, दिस इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। अगर आपको लीडर्स बनाने हैं, अगर आपको मोटिवेटर्स बनाने हैं, अगर आपको टीम बनानी है, तो आपको उनको ग्रूम करना पड़ेगा, तैयार करना पड़ेगा। सो दिस वॉज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी विच आई हैड टेकन ओवर इन अ पीस स्टेशन। फील्ड में, ऑपरेशन में टाइम नहीं मिलता ग्रूमिंग का, पीस स्टेशन में वो टाइम होता है, उस टाइम का मैंने इस्तेमाल किया टू ग्रूम माई ऑफिसर्स। एंड आई एम प्राउड टू से दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द ऑफिसर्स हु वर देयर हु जॉइंड एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, they are either commanding officers or doing very well in their life. So I think that that's a great achievement as far as my personal thing as a commanding officer of that time goes. Next please. So ultimately, you know, we started with that thing that I have to put the smile back where it belongs to, and at the end of my tenure of nearly 4 years in the unit, which is again uncommon. Normally you command for 2.5 years. I got to command for 4 years. That was a privilege that I got. But advantage was that I was able to put the smiles back to where they belong. Thank you.
Thank you so much, General Bhadauria. And we heard your story. हम सबने सुना, and all of us will read your book as well. Is there anything that you would like to change? Any change that you would want?
आपने सवाल किया कि क्या मैं कुछ बदलना चाहूँगा उस समय जो हुआ था उस वक्त का। यस, मैं चाहूँगा, बहुत कुछ बदलना चाहूँगा, बट इट्स नॉट ईजी। And actually, if I look at it philosophically, whatever happened had to happen. और मैंने जिस तरह से किया, I had put my soul and heart into everything. मुझे नहीं लगता कि मुझसे बेहतर कर पाता। उसके बावजूद भी कई गलतियाँ हुई। We lost a young officer, we lost 2-3 more lives. That regret will always be there. कि शायद मैं कुछ बेहतर करता तो शायद हो जाता, लेकिन मुझे नहीं लगता कि उससे बेहतर कुछ हो पाता, क्योंकि वो ऑपरेशंस इस तरह के होते हैं कि उसमें कुछ भी हो सकता है, आपको रिस्क उठानी पड़ती है। एंड व्हेन यू टेक रिस्क, समटाइम्स यू विन, समटाइम्स यू लूज।
एंड वी आर रनिंग शॉर्ट ऑफ टाइम, बहुत कम वक्त है हमारे पास। एंड लास्ट आई वांट टू आस्क यू कि देयर विल बी मेनी यंग चिल्ड्रन हियर हु विल बी हाईली मोटिवेटेड आपका सुन के द स्टोरी ऑफ योर यूनिट, तो एनी मैसेज फॉर देम?
यस, मैं सिर्फ ये कहना चाहूँगा, एक छोटे से शेर कहूँ या कुछ भी लाइन कहूँ, गिरते हैं शहसवार ही मैदान जंग में, गिरते हैं शहसवार ही मैदान जंग में, वो तिफल क्या गिरेंगे जो घुटना के बल चले। तो आपको कोशिश करनी पड़ेगी, आपको कोशिश करनी पड़ेगी, मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी। मेहनत करोगे, गिरोगे भी, पड़ोगे भी, चोट भी लगेगी, लेकिन सफलता भी मिलेगी। अगर मेहनत ही नहीं करोगे तो कुछ नहीं मिलेगा।
चलिए, so we have the, okay, yeah, we'll start with Mr. Vaklu.
Yeah, General Bhadauria, I'm really impressed with the beautiful exposition. I have just one question. Could you just share with us what were the high points of the letter that you wrote to your officers? I'm curious to know what may have been the high points, please.
Okay.
Buy the book.
Well, I'll cover some of these. While you know, she's acting as my marketing person. Okay. I first, you know, I write to them that yes, I've been observing all this and I'm disappointed at whatever has been going on, and it's a loss for all of us. And then I go on to describe as to what mistakes are they committing. For example, the knowledge of the terrain was not proper. They needed to operate more often. They needed to create more intelligence, get involved with the people, make friends with them, work for them, and get the faith. And that is when you can operate better in those areas. And then I go on to describe what tactics, they need to make use of. A lot of tactical mistakes the soldiers are making while in cordon and such, like using lights or standing out on terraces or things like that. A lot of these small things I pointed out to the soldiers that these are the kind of mistakes that you're making. If you don't make these mistakes, maybe things will be better. And then I also talked to them, I wrote to them about the importance of small team operations. Small teams are like, bloodhounds. Bloodhounds, they work in small teams, and when they see a target, they all converge at one place. So I told them to work like that. So these are some of the things that I've highlighted in that letter.
Thank you so much, Bhadauria ji. Yes, ma'am.
And I must share with you, just before he was about to write that letter, he has written here in the book, the world expects results. Don't tell others of labor pains. Show them the baby.
Absolutely. Indeed. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for that wonderful discussion. I would like to now invite the director, Raghav Chandra sir, on stage to felicitate our guests for this session. And it was an intriguing session. Thank you so much, Major General Bhadauria ji and Ambreen Zaidi ji, for that wonderful conversation and presentation. And we'll be presenting a beautiful painting that happens to be the mascot of BLF 2022, a beautiful tribal art painting made by Padma Shri Bhuri Bhai ji as a symbol of our respect, love and gratitude towards the author and the discussant. बहुत ही दिलचस्प बातचीत रही. The day that changed it all. Thank you so much, gentlemen.